Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome on into the trade deadline stream. The 2025 trade deadline is finally here, and we will see what happens today. Will there be any big trades? Will it be a boring deadline day? Who the hell knows? Hopefully, an exciting one because from a content standpoint, I need it. And on top of that, I don't want to be just sitting here watching some boring ass trades, watching some depth players get traded. So we're gonna see what happens. I appreciate all of you guys that were waiting coming into the live stream here. I do apologize for starting the live a little bit late. I forgot to push back the scheduled time for this. I was gonna go live closer to 9 o'clock, maybe even a little bit later, depending when I woke up. But honestly, I couldn't even sleep tonight. I was just constantly waking up, checking my phone. I just see the thing about Mika Rantanen, how he might not be getting moved. And then I also see on top of that, all these other reports coming out about how Palmieri might sign an extension with the Islanders after all. So it is just craziness today. That's what today is going to be all about. Just to remind everyone, leave a like on your way into the live stream. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, especially if you're a Ranger fan. Even if you're a hockey fan, we've been covering pretty much every single move that has happened here outside of like small little depth moves here and there that I will not go out of my way to cover. But be sure to do that, of course, even if you're not a Ranger fan, and you probably will enjoy watching me be miserable if you're not a Ranger fan. So go ahead and subscribe, and then turn on your post notifications if you're looking for an audio version, not necessarily of this episode, but of future episodes that are shorter and I actually do put up. Then be sure to, of course, check out on your podcasting platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your podcasting platform is. Go check it out there, give a 5-star rating and a review. And to remind everyone as well, I will be streaming from 9 to 12 here, and then it will be a very quick intermission. By that, I mean it will literally be like a 5-minute intermission at most to go onto Big Apple Hockey's live stream with them. And then I will start up the stream from their channel as well, to my end. So you guys don't even have to leave my channel. You could just go ahead and still watch here, but it would be greatly appreciated if you gave support to both of our channels at the end of the day. So that's how today is lined up to go. And then, of course, that will run until a little bit after 3 o'clock because we know trades leak in afterwards. But if it's a quiet deadline, that might not be the case, which so far has been pretty. It's been a little. I don't know how I'd say if it's been on the scale. I guess somewhere in the middle between quiet and a busy deadline here so far because of the fact that, the guys that we expected to move did. Obviously, outside of Miko Rantanen, who was moved earlier on during the deadline, he is who we're really counting on for this deadline to be a big day. In terms of other names, we've heard Ryan O'Reilly potentially, as he has been linked to the New Jersey Devils yesterday. So that could be someone that is on the move. So that would be an interesting one. Chris Kreider, potentially, if he's on the move today from the New York Rangers, that could end up being someone, of course, that would be a little bit of a surprise. JJ Paterka, who we heard about last night, would be a surprise. And I would love it to be a Ranger surprise because I would do a lot of different things for him to be a New York Ranger, as I, of course, expressed last night. So we will see, how this deadline goes. All I know is that I am feeling I'm feeling optimistic that we're going to have a big deadline today. I maybe it's just from the content standpoint that I'm getting too excited for nothing there, but I have a good feeling because usually what goes down is the days leading up a little bit quieter, and then the deadline day as we get closer to 3 o'clock, it's just like everything spills at once here, and I'm hoping that's what ends up being the case. Really hope so, because leading up to the deadline, I feel like we had more moves last year and the year before, a little bit before the deadline, but there also, I feel like we're a little bit more sellers and more definitive. I think there's more of a definitive market for certain guys. Like there's a lot more UFAs, where this year it's like more guys with term might be used, which is a hurdle to cross over. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, as we are starting here. But what's going on, Alexander? As you were here in the pre-show, I appreciate that big trade today. Hopefully we get a big trade today. my gut feeling is that Ryan O'Reilly's going to get moved. That is still going to be my prediction. I'm sticking with that one. If he's not moved, it's a prediction. Because I got nothing to base it off of, so it's not like it. This is something that I'm saying is definitely going to happen here, or I have inside info on. Sean, what's going on? Predictions. My prediction, like I said, Ryan O'Reilly gets moved. In terms of other names, let's pull up the pending UFA board actually, just to get a idea of who could potentially be available. And then I need to probably order some food, because if not, I will start to I'll start to get hungry relatively quickly here. So gonna have to do that. It's gonna be a long day here on the deadline show. But let's take a look at who could be available. Obviously, as mentioned, Mikko Rantanen could be someone. Paterka, who I mentioned. Provorov, it looks like, is off the board. So that is a name that, could have been maybe a big return off the board there. Brock Besser, that's going to be an interesting one to see if he ends up getting dealt, which that can make. There's a lot of guys where it's like these UFAs could make or break it, because Brad Marchand, another pending UFA after this year, it could really make or break if these guys are either re-signed or if teams just decide to hold on to these guys, because it would ruin the deadline. But it could happen here. And then just looking down the list a little bit more, Kuzmenko could get flipped here today from Philadelphia. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. Kyle Palmieri, which the Islanders might resign, but hopefully not. And then there was also a rumor that they're shopping Pajot and Lee potentially, or they're at least getting offers on those guys. So we'll see if any of those guys get moved, which would be very interesting. Riley Smith got dealt. Of course, Jason Zucker is a guy that could get moved. Uh, let's see who else. Ryan Lindgren, of course, got dealt. Sam Bennett could be someone that gets dealt in a deal where Florida makes a bigger trade, like we talked about yesterday, where if Mikko Ranta gets moved to Florida, maybe a Bennett or a guy like Verhage goes the other way. So that would be a very interesting trade, which again, hoping for something along those lines just to get some sort of trade of substance here today. And outside of that, I mean, Patrick Kane, I don't think he's going to be on the move by Detroit, but he's a pending UFA. Bowen Byram, a pending RFA, who could be on the move today. David Savard is a defenseman to watch. Brandon Tanev has been held out for trade reasons, so he's a guy that surely is getting dealt today. Mason McTavish maybe could be. He's an RFA at the end of the year. Armia could get moved. And then outside of that, I'm not quite sure if there's really anyone else. Jeff Skinner maybe gets flipped here at the deadline to a different team for Edmonton to make a bigger move, which I don't know how much I'm counting on that to happen, but it's a possibility, of course. And then Sean Corrali, I don't know if Columbus is going to move him, but that's a name that could be there. Again, it's a lot of like what ifs here. Grizzly could be moved to a team that needs a defenseman. Uh, and I think really that's about. Oh, and of course, Donato. Donato's probably one of the bigger names actually at the deadline. And Pia Suter could be moved as well. And those are some cost effective names there. So there wouldn't be a lot of salary retention. So the returns could be a little bit bigger on those guys, just because it would give teams a lot more of wiggle room to go out and make other moves. Jonathan Quick, I'm not sure if the Rangers are going to shop him, but could be moved today. We'll see about that one. And yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a couple other names like Craig Smith, depth guys there. So I apologize for rambling there. Just wanted to, go through the list of guys that could potentially be moved here today. There's still a lot more. I mean, Mike Riley, even of the Islanders, if he's gets healthy, as I'm still going here, as I apologize for yapping, but Perbix from Tampa to open up some cap. So, like I said, this could be very quiet. This could be a very busy deadline. There's really no in between here, which it's kind of been that way for kind of been felt that way for weeks here. Sorry, just texting real quick and then I will get back to the chat. Or we had a lot of that, unfortunately, today. Or a lot of times I'm at least glued to my phone. Just texting one of my Islander fan friends right now who didn't see the Nelson trade until this morning. And he's asking me about what I think of the return. So it's filling him in on that, of course, there. So yeah, let's get back to the chat. So you guys are saying, let me know in the chat though. Do you guys have any crazy trade deadline predictions here that you think could happen today? Let me know in the chat right now. Would love to hear that. The only prediction I have is that I'll be disappointed come 3 p.m. Well, hopefully we're not disappointed here. I at least won't be disappointed if there's big moves throughout the NHL, honestly, just because of the fact that again, um, from a content standpoint, I need that. I just need that. Also, Matt, I saw you type in the chat. I thought I sent. See, it failed to send the link. I thought I sent you it. Did the thing that it did with Carson. Sorry about that. But there you go. Got you. I don't get how there's no update on Paterka. I hope Jerry's cooking. This could still be me coping, but I still have this feeling that what went down with Paterka yesterday is that there is a deal on the table and Drury didn't want it leaked. Staple ended up coming out with a report because it's very weird to me. It's very weird to me how you get reports from Saravalli and that Buffalo beat writer, I forgot his name, and then there was another guy that reported it that there is a serious offer and there might be a deal that Kevin Adams likes that he'll take here. And then all of a sudden, Arthur Staples says there's no deal at all. Like, and not even with that, like the way he worded that was that they're not in on Paterka, which would imply that they never even checked in on it. How do we go from a significant offer on the table to not interested in Paterka? Which I am hoping that the deal getting leaked doesn't kill the deal entirely, and Drury doesn't pull a Lou Lamoriello here with JT Miller back in the day where a deal was about to happen, but because it got leaked, he decided to back out. I am hoping that does not end up being the case with this because JJ Paterka would be so good for this team, but that could be the case, unfortunately, there. And yeah, I'm willing to bet though that that's what it is that Staple, because Staple quickly backwalked even his own tweet a little bit where he was saying, I no disrespect to those guys, I'm just feeding the info that I'm hearing. So translation, he's hearing that they're not interested, which again, I think that comes from the Ranger side, and what Saravalli and all these other guys got came from the Buffalo side of things. So I think there is an offer. Again, could it be me coping? I don't know, but that's just what I think. While you point this out though, it is going to be interesting to see the waiver wire today as well. So we'll see what happens there with that. But yeah, Matt, you got the link now, right? Because I did send it. I at least think I did. What about Jordan Greenway? Uh I don't think that makes sense for the Rangers. I mean, he could. I don't think he's getting moved either. I think he just signed that extension too. Feel like the Rangers won't do any more trades. We'll see. I mean, I think it's really counting on Paterka. They could do what they did with Susie yesterday, where they buy on a guy with term, which I've been saying for weeks that would make the most sense. So we'll see if that ends up being the case there. And yeah, Donato is working on an extension. I think that would be silly for Chicago to do, but we'll see. What's going on, Matt?
Not much. Waiting for Drury to make me miserable again today, but again, another day that ends in Y.
What Joe just send the chat as if Elliot Freeman needs me to back up. I'm told there's absolutely trade done between Carolina and Dallas, but it's hinged on the extension. So again, what we heard yesterday, which is just annoying how these insiders just reiterate the same information.
Yeah, I
So
saw something that said that, I don't know if it was what Dallas was offering or what Rantanen was looking for, but either or, that was 13,000,000, and then what Carolina was offering was more in the 12 to $12.5 million range.
if he doesn't take that, I don't know what he's thinking at that point. Hopefully it does happen, Iceman. Hopefully. I'm really I'm trying my best to be optimistic about that because it's something that I want badly, but you know, my optimism didn't serve me well last year with Gensel, so we'll see. I don't think Paterka's out the window entirely though. I think that maybe it's somewhere in the middle with what we heard last night between what Saravalli said and what Staples said, because there's no way, like I said, we go from there's a deal on the table that Buffalo's considering to the Rangers are not even interested in Paterka. To me, that makes no sense. And listen, Drury's not great at his job. Like, let's call a spade here. But he would be stupid to not be at least interested in Paterka.
You severely underestimate the great Chris Drury and his stupidity.
I I gotta at least say that though. Like you have to be another level of stupid to not be at least interested there. Because every team around the league should be interested in Paterka.
Wyatt Johnson has to be well, supposedly it's not Wyatt Johnson from what we were hearing last night. It's more gonna be Logan Stankoven, which I guess if you're Dallas, I think you'd rather flip a guy like Logan Stankoven. I mean, again, like both are really good players. Don't get me wrong. Like Wyatt Johnson and Logan Stankoven are both very good in their own aspects, but I think for Dallas right now, like who needs to win a cup this year after coming up short in the last couple years of getting to the conference finals. I think you rather that center depth, and right now I think Wyatt Johnston's a little more developed in terms of his development plan. So yeah, listen, would it suck to lose Logan Stankoven? Sure, but if you're getting Mikko Rantanen along with an extension, and as of right now, the deal is hinging on an extension. So at that point, I think you'd be fine flipping Stankoven for Rantanen.
Yeah. I mean, for Dallas, it makes sense. For Carolina, it absolutely sucks. It really sucks. I gotta block some of these parody accounts I'm seeing on or mute them on Twitter because I know that I'm gonna
Yeah,
fall for one of these.
I got some unfinished business with Buck Report.
I don't think Schneider's gone. I like I said yesterday, they didn't want to move Schneider for a guy like Eichel or even JT Miller, who they really liked. So I can't see them all of a sudden moving him unless they're getting a. I mean, if I would say you move him if another Eichel type player becomes available, but one, who would that be? Two, will they even do it then? I don't know. They seem to really love Schneider an obnoxious amount, which I said in the tweet the other day. I think the love this organization has for Braden Schneider is going to hurt them, but that's just my opinion there.
Mark sent the link.
Yeah, they're starting still around
Yeah,
12, right?
yeah. Mirror, mirror on the wall, how can I turn this team into a bigger dumpster fire?
There's a sixth guy though, I guess. Jim, probably right.
Probably.
And this is actually a very good point here that what we heard yesterday about how Paterka the interest is linked because of Pekka, which could mean the coaching staff is safe for next year, or Pekka could be the next head coach in line, which I don't know how I'd feel about either, but we'll see if any of that correlates. This could be an interesting trade that could happen today if middle stack gets flipped, but I don't know if they're gonna flip him. I still feel like what I said yesterday is going to be the case that they're gonna I feel like they're gonna ride it out with this 1-2-3 down the middle. And then similar to when they after they won a cup, they're gonna lose that 1-2-3 by either losing Nelson or maybe they'll try to retain Nelson and then they'll move middle stat in another deal just to make the cap work a little bit there. So we'll see if that's the case. But I mean Nelson's a better player, but he's also older, so we'll see. Honestly, though, Drury might not make any trades today, like outside of a small little trade with the Wolf Pack, because if he doesn't get what he wants for a guy like Chris Kreider or anyone like that, he's not gonna. And even with Kreider, yeah, he's just not gonna rush a move there. So there might not be any big moves for the Rangers today. I could be wrong there, but it's just that could be the case because they already did a lot of their moves. Riley Smith was the guy that was a lock to get moved, and that already happened yesterday.
Yeah, I'm more looking for if Kreider goes, which again we'll see because depending on what happens, especially with the reports that came out yesterday saying that him and Drury's relationship is basically fractured. So let's see how that goes down. And then the other guy, even though we don't want him to get moved, but because we've acquired so much great defensive depth in terms of Calvin DeHaan and Carson Soucy, probably Zach Jones is probably out the door today, which is gonna suck because we're probably gonna get a lower pick than what we got for than what we flipped for Carson Soucy. So yeah, fun, fun times. It would be so dreary to call Soucy a deadline. Yeah, and don't forget about Scott Long too, because we need our random fourth line depth guy. That's not good.
I don't know if you did you mention Zach Jones, by the
Yeah,
way?
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say because Zach Jones, that's the move I could see actually happening today. Is Zach Jones going out, which will piss me off. It will piss me off, but it's fine, right?
yeah.
It's all right.
It's all right because the Carson Soucy jersey is on the way already. I purchased it. Can't wait.
It's all right.
Yeah, yeah. The fact that Schneider is valued more than Jones speaks volumes of this organization's dysfunction. That's why we call him Dino Drury.
Yeah, it's literally the old school mentality. I mean, they value Carson Soucy clearly more than Zach Jones too, if that's the case. Which again, dinosaur mentality. That just tells you where this team is at. That's why it's like when I say these things about how they don't have a department, and when I say that they don't know what a computer is, it's half. I'm half kidding when I say it. I'm only half kidding.
At least Zach Jones will play for a contender and probably be the bane. Yeah, man. At this point, just because fuck Drury, I want him to go to Florida. Let Zach Jones go to Florida.
Don't even. Florida or Vegas, and he's just gonna be so good at it in either place. Don't even get me started. Mark, what's going on? Barely is the answer to this question, though. Barely. I kept waking up and checking my phone in case anything happened, but it's fine. I'll be juiced up, similar to the Stadium Series when I woke up obnoxiously early that day and barely got sleep after downing like five Smirnoffs the night before.
And a lot of cheese sauce.
Yeah, but that didn't have shit on me. None of those got me the way it got Nick.
I think you guys are being a little harsh on Jury. I don't think so, but
Based on what though, Rob? Are we
don't think so,
like
but
what has Drury done to warrant the we're being too harsh on him? Pierre LeBrun tweeted on Marchand. Is this Pierre LeBrun or Pierre LeBron that
no,
tweeted?
it was Pierre LeBrun. It was basically saying that that Colorado could have been a team that wasn't on Marchand, but because they acquired Nelson yesterday, that's probably not the case anymore.
That makes sense. I wonder what Winnipeg does now because they're the biggest losers of Nelson going to Colorado because that's a team they might face in the playoffs, and that's a guy that they should have pushed the chips in for.
Not only that they missed out on Nelson, but they actively decided not to pursue the great Carson Soucy.
Yeah, they Winnipeg taking L's left and right. And this is also just, I mean, we talked about this ad nauseum. We're not going to beat a dead horse too much here, but it's like the amount that we talked about this in the offseason, it's just like he waits to move guys.
No, if he thinks we're being harsh on Drury, he shouldn't have seen the chat last night.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to not get it to that point again to where we got yesterday, but it's very warranted,
The pi
unfortunately.
the pizza
I don't
rolls
want
are
to have to shit on Drury. Believe me, I defended him for quite quite too long. I might have over defended him for a while, but it's just like after last year,
Jur
I last year
Jur
ruined my
yeah.
entire reputation with Drury because I was even though he made some bad moves like moving Buchnevich and acquiring garbage depth players like overpaying Goudreau and overpaying Nemeth, I was still giving him the benefit of the doubt because of the fact that I was like, all right, let's just see, how this team does with the moves that he makes. And I was trying to be patient there, but it just got to a point. And then last year when he didn't go all in, it ruined everything
Yeah.
with how I feel.
We were so young and experienced defending delusion, but yeah, no, Drury lost me. He lost me last year at the deadline. He did it because even I tried to gas up the our free agency class last year with Benino, Pitlick, um, Quick, and Gustafson saying, "Yeah, look, Drury cooked on a budget." Yeah, he didn't do much cooking that day. The pizza rolls were burned to a crisp.
Even Wheeler, I remember that like
Wheeler, yeah. We hyped up Wheeler. Only because it was 800K really, because I didn't want Wheeler at all really, but I was like, for 800K, you really can't do that. You really can't go wrong with that, but we were wrong.
yeah, I remember I was hesitant about Wheeler when Nick was telling me that they were interested, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea. It was 800K. I was like, all right, you know what, 50-point player. But usually, what happens when a guy like that doesn't work out, they get waived. But
No, people
Troy
have a
didn't do
quick
that.
mind.
Blake Wheeler, literally the only reason that mistake. I don't even know how you want to phrase this, but the only reason things changed there is because of the fact that he got injured, but he overstayed his welcome.
And then Drury had a chance to get me back in the summer because I saw him kick out Barkley Goodrow. I'm like, okay, Drury, maybe this is redemption time for you. And then the whole Truba thing happened. And I'm like, yeah, fuck this guy.
Yeah, no, honestly, the deadline last year was where my stance turned, and then this summer just put the nail in the coffin that I can't defend him because I said it going into the season that I think we all a good amount of us had a feeling that the Truba cloud over this team's head was going to be a problem, and sure enough, it was. And now you look back to at some of the times where he just didn't cash in at these guys' peak with their value, and it's just like such a mistake. And listen, I'll give him credit when he does do things that I was wrong about. Like I'll put my hand up and say Carrick's actually been a very solid addition when I was very pissed off and laughed at the when they added him. He's been very solid, but I'm not going to sit here and say, "You know what? Go Chris Drury because he found a fourth liner." And I'm not going to sit here and say, "Go Chris Drury because individual performances are doing well." It's about the team performing.
So all you guys wanted Trouba gone, and when he does it now, we didn't like it. No, no, it's not the fact about that. It's the fact that he could have done it in the summer, but he chose to bitch out and let Trouba step all over him. When in reality, he's the GM. He has higher authority than Trouba, and if he really wanted him gone, he could have forced him out. And then it was the fact that yeah, and then it was the fact that yeah, he did get rid of Truba, but then he took the money that freed up and he extended Igor with it, which again made no sense when we all clearly could have seen that. Okay, cool, you get rid of Truba, now start the rebuild because usually when GMs in this league don't get a second chance after they make a huge screw up in the offseason. Drury had that golden opportunity because Pat Verbeek came in and just said, "Okay, I'll take your garbage." And then he said, "Nope, let me just take this money and freaking extend Igor and have another shitty long-term contract on the books." That's more why I'm pissed at Drury for that.
That and if they move Truba over the summer and they don't give up assets to get Riley Smith, they could have actually been in a prime spot to get Jake Ensel this summer, which I can tell you right now, we wouldn't have been talking about Jake Ensel getting traded like we had to trade Riley Smith here.
Mhm.
And we'd feel a lot better about this top six right now because right now, and all of a sudden, I mean, this team would be in a really good spot for going into next year in terms of potentially the forward group because if they got a guy like McLeod or Zaka to fill out the 3C and then Cooley would be down on that third line, you'd have Gensel playing with like Miller and Zibanejad or maybe up on that first line and Lafreniere plays with Miller and Zibanejad, whatever it is. The top six would be a lot more comfortable and then you'd have a third line of like Cooley, McLeod or Zaka, and then you figure out who you put there, whether it's like Berard or Othman, and you'd feel a lot better. But it's more about with Drury, it's a lot of it's what he didn't do also versus what he did do.
See, the JT trade should have happened at the last year. Well, that wasn't going to happen at last year's deadline because Vancouver was one of the contenders last year. So there was no way they would be flipping JT Miller last year. So we should not be rebuilding after 5 years. We just did a rebuild. Yeah, but you also got to look at the context of how that Florida series went down because in reality, like, sure, the history books will say that was a 6 game series, but if we're gonna be honest with each other and how that series actually played out, if it wasn't for Igor, that series should have been a sweep in reality. And just by looking at the fact that how the star players once again did not show up, at that point you have to look at it and say, yeah, this is not working. Let me take a 2 to 3 year step back and retool this roster, and then we can go again. And again, that should have been by moving a guy like Igor, because again, you don't need to win a cup by overpaying a goaltender that amount of money. Moving on from Truba, moving on from Kreider last year, which they should have done because he just came off a 39 goal season, and some GM would have been dumb enough to to actually give up quality assets for Kreider. Looking to get rid of Amika Zibanejad these are the moves they should have made. Moving on from Artemi Panarin, because again, that's not a guy you win with in the playoffs. As we've seen, he's disappeared in every single playoff run that the Rangers have made so far. So they didn't have to do a full blown rebuild, but they should have done a 2 to 3 year retool at that point, and then it also would have made sense because you would have gotten out the old pieces of the core and then reintroduced new pieces of the core. Like, I mean, like we mentioned Lafreniere, but this was obviously before the point where he had a shit season again. Talk about Heedle. Then you could have introduced Gabe Perreault later into the rebuild, into the retool. So, but yeah, what's done is done.
Yeah, it's just again, that's really the issue. Just what he didn't do versus what he did, and really, like we mentioned before, it's the fact that there were so many opportunities to move certain guys while their values were at their peak, like Kako and Kreider last offseason, Lindgren, and he just didn't do it. He just did not do it at all.
They
And
went to
I still disagree with this point because elite talents like Gensel find ways to produce away from that player. I mean, he didn't play with even when Crosby was hurt, he would still put up very good production. And also, could you imagine Gensel playing with JT Miller right now?
yeah, if only. Now he has to play with the great Mika Zibanejad. Let's see. They went to the conference finals twice within those 5 years. That's a rebuild done properly. Well,
No.
no, not really, because again, the Rangers rushed the rebuild, and that was clear and obvious. Like, if they wanted to do an actual full blown rebuild, there would have been many years where they were at the bottom of the league. But even for the Rangers, like, yeah, they did a rebuild, but there was never any point where like the Rangers were like terrible, terrible. They should have flipped Crowder at the 2020 deadline. They got lucky by, you know, jumping up in two lotteries, getting the second pick in 2019, getting Kako, and then winning the draft lottery in 2020 and drafting Lafreniere. And plus, you got to look at the context. This franchise is about to be 100 years old in 2 years. They have 4 cups, the lowest out of any original six team. Like, we can't be hyping up conference finals appearances. Like, if you're gonna rebuild, you gotta win. And don't forget the hype that this rebuild is getting, because we were hearing things like this is the next great rebuild. The Rangers are building a dynasty. Yeah, that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, the rebuild is so successful that their second overall pick was scratched in twice in the conference finals in game 6 in a do or die situation. So to put that, and I agree with this comment. If Crosby didn't, if Trouba didn't take out Crosby, they were done in 5 games that series against Pittsburgh for sure. And I really wonder if they don't get to the conference finals that year, how different this would look right now. But we'll never know. And yeah, like this is the point. They rebuilt and then they turned those guys into third liners. Like if the victory of the rebuild is that they got a middle six forward or a second pair defenseman, then you didn't do a great job rebuilding.
Plus, also at this point, like, the Rangers supposedly did a rebuild, right? But let's take a look at the guys who they drafted in the first round. So in 2017, they traded Elias. I mean, not traded. They drafted Elias Anderson and Filipino. Both of them are gone. Elias Anderson was a bust, and they flipped him for the pick that in the 2020 draft, which they used to pick up Will Cooley. They drafted then Filipino with the 21st pick. Cool, you could say Heedle worked out, but injuries, and then he flipped them for the JT Miller in the JT Miller trade. 2018, Vitaly Kravtsov, bust. Nils Lundqvist hasn't really worked on the NHL. They flipped him for a first round pick. Okay, cool. And then Keandre Miller. You could say Keandre Miller worked out, but again, now the Rangers are at a point where do they want to extend him for big time money or do they want to trade him? 2019, Kako, bust. Traded to Seattle for Will Borgen. And then 2020, Alexi Lafreniere, cool, showed potential last year, but this year signed the extension and has seemingly checked out. And then Braden Schneider, a third pair defenseman. So you say supposed rebuild, but by going on the fact that most of their first round picks aren't even here anymore, and the ones that they do have aren't looking too good, I can't sit here and say that's a successful rebuild.
No, it's just simply not at all. Um, and I disagree with this too because what has Carolina's offense looked like since Gensel's left? I mean, Gensel was over a point per game there, and Aho was playing better with Gensel there. I think that you're undervaluing how much of a play driver Jake Gensel is. Would the production maybe be less with Mika Zibanejad? Okay, you could argue that, but I don't think Gensel himself would be struggling that much. I think he would still comfortably be putting up very good production next to Zibanejad, but we'll never know. I mean, it's a pointless conversation there until he's 40 years old and both of them are here together. NY for life, according to Vince Mercogliano, Kreider's issues go all the way back to when Ramsey was fired. I would not be surprised if he's gone by 3 p.m. I would be surprised just because I think that I truly believe that that's more of a summer move. I would be happy if they move Kreider by 3 p.m. And the fact that that's still a problem to Chris Kreider is just ridiculous to me that he can't handle the business side of things, especially when he went through an entire rebuild and watched some great players get moved. Just watched Henrik Lundqvist get bought out, and he's over here getting upset about Barkley Goudreau and Jacob Trouba of all people. It's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, well,
Thank you, Hockey Dad. Appreciate that. Who goes today? Uh, if you want my bold prediction, I still like I've been saying, I stand by Ryan O'Reilly as my bold prediction for someone that gets moved today.
I think we can get more for him in the summer if he's packaged. Could have got more from him if we did it the last off season because, like I said, just came off with 39 goals, but yeah, Drury wanted to run it back, and that worked out. But yeah, I don't know how much. I don't know because you never know with NHL GMs and how they value guys. People could look at Cryer and say, "Oh, 3 30 goal or more seasons in a row. This is a guy that is valuable, can help us win a cup." But then you got the back injury and the fact that he hasn't played a lot at all. I don't know what they could get for Chris Kreider.
So is Zaka the rumor for us getting a 3C? Any other names? McLeod. Those are like the two guys that Matt and I are banging the drum for as the 3C, which means that we'll
It's not
probably
gonna
get
happen.
we'll probably get more Uso Parson as the 3C, but I'd be happy to be very wrong about that, and I'd be very happy if they landed either one of those players. So we'll see there. I'm sure there's another name that I'm probably forgetting there. Yeah, we talked about Paterka, and there's really no update there.
It's like how I wanted Jake Wallman, but hey, good luck to him in Edmonton, I guess. Which by the way, that return yesterday because it came out of freaking 2 a.m. the return. It was it was a conditional first round pick and then a prospect, or not even Carl Berglund went the other way. I think Edmonton did good in that deal. I think both did in that deal because Mike Greer, like I said, acquired Jake Wallman as a cap dump, gave up nothing to get him, and then flipped him for a first round pick. And then for Edmonton, you get a very good puck moving defenseman on your D core. So I think both teams made out well in that trade.
What did what's it called? What's the conditions on that pick?
Let's see. Okay, so it's right here. If the Oilers' first round selection in 2026 is in the top 12, the team may instead choose to transfer their 2027 first round pick to San Jose.
I like Wallman, but I don't. The Rangers were not in a spot to make that deal. Unfortunately, like they can't give up another first right now. I would have. It would have been better if they just got him in the offseason when he was a cap dump. But now it's just like giving up a first for him would have been that would have been a lot.
We should not be celebrating a banner for them winning the pay. You and me both. You and me both, Vanoyer for life. Me and Evan were both at the home opener, and when they showed those banners on the jumbotron and MSG was celebrating, we were just standing. I mean, we were just sitting in our seats, all quiet.
Shaking our heads.
I am not celebrating mediocrity.
Yeah, no, I know Matt's gonna disagree, but I'm with you that I wouldn't have gave up a first to get him. If you're talking when he was a cap dump, I would have moved an asset to get him in that. But yeah, I would have wanted him then. But a first round pick for him now, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have done that. I like Wallman a lot more than what you're saying, Gabe. But I just think that a first would have been too much considering this team's picks are already depleted right now, and
Well,
they
no,
need to bolster the farm.
no, I agree with you in that point because again, it's context. Like the Rangers not in a position to do that, but like for a team like Edmonton who's in a winning position, yeah, you make that trade all day.
Oh yeah.
And if this was the Rangers last year, then yeah, you go out and you make that trade for Jake Wallman. But yeah, I still like Wallman, and they still should have fucking got him in the offseason when he was a cap dump. But yeah, good on Chris Greer for recognizing that a quality defenseman, a quality asset was available for absolutely nothing, and then he comes to San Jose, produces, puts up really good points, and then flips him for a first round pick. So yeah, credit to Chris Greer. He's building something over there in San Jose. It's going to take a while for them, to fully get into contending mode, but I'm pretty sure with the assets that they're acquiring, drafted Celebrini, got Will Smith, drafted Sam Dickinson last year. Obviously, they're gonna get another high pick this year. They got a nice team building there in San Jose, and of course the great Barkley Goodrow, the alpha dog, and Alexander Wenberg. Can't forget
So
about those two.
sorry, but you pulled a mark there. It's Mike Greer, not Chris Greer.
Oh, did I say Chris Greer?
Yeah, you said it twice too.
Um, so I was Frank's on my mind right now.
At least you didn't call Braden Schneider Matthew Schneider yet.
Yeah, Frank's Dolphins are on my mind.
Hey, Lou did not operate like it's the 90s last night, though. I'll tell you that. That return for Nelson was really good.
JJ Paterka's happening or what, boys? I don't know.
As long as there's delusion, there's hope. I'm coping. I'm saying it's gonna happen, but this is just me coping heavily because I've wanted Paterka since he was drafted.
If any other GM was our GM, I'd say yeah, but because it's Chris Drury and nice things don't happen when Drury's GM, then yeah, I don't think Paterka's gonna happen. But I hope so. I hope so. I love JJ Paterka, and I think he would be the right type of forward that the Rangers should bring in. But he's also too talented, so there is that point. We need guys that are physical and play the game the right way. You know, I don't know if you guys saw the goal yesterday, but JJ Peterka had a really nice steal off Nikita Kucherov and then ripped the puck top shelf.
He would
I
have
don't
got
know,
benched for
man.
that here.
I
Imagine Drury pulls off a package, Paterka, Byram, and McLeod, Tomlin, AB. Yeah, it would be nice though.
Joey, you're giving Drury way too much credit there. He's not that
To be
creative.
fair, he did say Tomlin, AB.
Yeah, but I know, but still, I know he's positive D right now, optimistic D. But Joey, how's the farm coming along? How's the carrots, the potatoes, the tomatoes, the
Well,
cabbage?
yeah, if Joey's betting the farm on Paterka happening, then it's gonna happen, I guess.
He's betting the farm
Buster only.
like Buster only for George Springer to the Mets. Nico, what's up, man? So when's Paterka becoming a Ranger? Never.
At 1:30 today. Around 1:30.
Optimistic E.
I'm trying with this
Delusion
shit.
E.
I need to. If it will it to happen, I need to try.
Trey, the type of guy to overpay to get Scott Lawton. Hey man, I told you that's a guy who plays the right way. He puts his body all out on the line, willing to get into the dirty areas. You know, won't put up points, but he'll do the intangibles. He'll do the little things that go under the radar.
We are coping with it. I don't know where have you seen this? Because I've seen a lot of people come in the chat bringing up this Kreider Jones for Clark thing. Because I haven't seen that anywhere other than fans saying they'd like it. Which, if there's substance to it, I would love for that to happen. But at the same time, it's like if you're moving Jones, why not just? Are they going to give Brant Clark a chance? Even I don't know. It was a Puckpedia armchair GM trade. Yeah, that's what I thought, Joey.
Yeah, meat and potatoes. Can't have enough meat and potatoes.
I'll be ordering food later. Mark's ops. I am eating now, but I will order more food later.
I'm
Mark's
ordering
ops.
food. I'm ordering food right now.
You should, Joey.
You should. Actually, no. I'm feeling a little more. I want some more healthy options. Can you send me some stuff from your farm? You know, maybe I want to make a salad later. And I think some fresh Joey D grown lettuce from the backyard. I think that really help. Some carrots, some
I was gonna
tomatoes.
say we need the fresh tomatoes.
The Joey D tomatoes.
I feel like a carrot D would hit different.
Carrot D. Wingstop.
Stop.
Cheese sauce. Bone in or bone out.
Boner in.
Is Wingstop any good, Mike? Yes, it absolutely is really good. Especially if you get the cheese. But you got to get the cheese sauce. See, it's all about the cheese sauce is the make or break. You got to get the cheese sauce, and then at least my go-to order is some garlic parm and some honey barbecue. Then you get the cheese sauce on the side with some fries. That's the go-to. How about some fresh jalapenos? Spanish D, spicy D.
How about some fresh basil, Joey? Or like some fresh thyme.
Joey's got on his overalls right now and his straw hat. Just working on the farm right now. You know, it's not much, but it's honest work.
I will not address to anyone as the tribal chief but Sean Mania.
Yeah, the only tribal chief is Shamanaya. That's it. I wasn't a fan of the fries when I got it the first time. Maybe it was a bad yeah, there's probably a bad batch because usually when I get my fries, they're pretty good, but maybe just not a Wingstop fry guy, Nico. Could simply be that. I got fresh basil. There you go, Joey. Susie brings the physicality that we lost with Trub at a fraction of the cost. Okay, sure he brings physicality, but he can't skate, he can't move the puck, and he's not talented. So okay, so I'm paying a guy less, but to suck a little bit less, like, and plus if the reports are true that we're playing Carson Susie on the first pair with Adam Fox, um, yeah, no, then basically we should have just kept Ryan Lingard at that point. It might be, but the cheese sauce is elite. Lived up, yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with Wingstop cheese sauce. It's goated in its own right.
Joey, do you have any fresh red 42? Blue 1, yellow 5, any of that?
Matt, last night I went to sleep at 3:25. Everything was just too crazy to go to sleep at a normal. Yeah, I went to bed at like around 2:45, 3. I just once I really saw that the Rantanen deal was hung up on extension, I was like, yeah, it's not getting done today. There's no way. So I'm like, might as well just go to bed, wake up, all
Where's the
natural
where's
garden
the, where's the red 40 though, Unk?
garden D.
Thanks for the $5, Ken. More guys, Ranger fan here in Cali, planning to spend the day with you, hoping Clown Cherry could pull off something. But not expecting much. Same thing with you, Ken. I'm trying to will the Paterka trade to happen, but
Clown
probably won't.
Jerry.
Hey, at least TSN's actually going to give coverage, and I'm sure that we're going to get absolutely nothing here in the US.
Order.
Yeah, I know that Miller talked up Susie to the front office. And
Order.
I started giving JT Miller too much credit, I guess, here.
Now he's on my Ebola list. Nico Mikkel isn't a good skater either, and look what he's been able to do for Florida. Yeah, but Florida has a really good system, and they're actually able to, develop players and help players work on their weaknesses, unlike this franchise.
And he's also surrounded by guys that can skate. Here he's surrounded by more guys that skate like they're in quicksand. And if they moved any slower, you would think time's moving backwards.
Even though for me, I was a Mikkola guy when he was here. I really liked him, and I was one of the guys that was actually wanting him to come back. But good for him. Went to Florida, went to a better situation. No state income tax, and won a Stanley Cup. So can't really complain from his point of view.
Yeah, Mikko was the best, one of their better deadline ads, their best defensive trade deadline move in the Drury tenure. And then Chad Ruedl's the guy they bring back instead out of any of the guys that they retain. Gotta love it. Gotta love the great Chris Drury. Scott Lawton could be moved today. I think he ends up in Toronto. Because Toronto's going to get desperate. And they're going to think they could compete with the top dogs still.
Tampa adds Gordon Bjorkstrand, and Toronto
How do they respond?
The mighty Scott Lawton.
I think Miklo is better than Braun.
Mikkola was better.
Kind of reminds me of the Braun trade. I forgot who said that yesterday with the Susie one. Like,
great.
Right, that's the bar here. Justin Braun. I didn't hate Justin Braun that much, but
no, I thought he was all right. He came in and did a job. He's he's the guy that goes into work every morning and just does his thing. He's a good guy in the locker room.
He did good at playing 12 minutes a night. Yeah, honestly, it was just also that Patrick Nemeth was so bad that literally anyone was an upgrade at that point. Anyone that could hold a hockey stick was an upgrade at that point. What do we think about New Jersey getting Dumoulin? Stupid.
Yeah,
They should not be buying. Unless it's getting guys with term. They should not be buying. Yeah, Lou.
Nelson 7th. Yeah, but he was also offering him less years. I think he was only offering him 3 years, and Nelson wanted more years. So higher AAV for less years.
I can't wait for Trevor Bauer to take credit for that one.
Yeah.
He invented the idea of a shorter term deal with high AAV. That was all Trevor Bauer, you could thank, and Rachel Luba. I fucking hate them. I remember with the Scherzer deal and they were taking credit. Because yes, a 40-year-old was going to get a long-term deal.
A grandpa was going to get a 5-year deal.
Uncle was going to get a 7-year deal.
Maybe Susie's a poor man's Bookaboom? No. Bookaboom was good.
Yeah, you have to be. I mean, he did say poor man's, but I don't know if he's even at poor man's status there.
No, because poor man's is at least applying. You're at least semi good. Susie's just ass.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't even reach poor man's status here. Vince tweet would everyone already knew. So
There's there's a lot
a
to unpack.
regular Vince tweet. Yeah, here we go. A few notes with 5 hours till the deadline, telling us how much cap the Rangers have, telling us about how Fox is on IR. Um, doesn't know anything about Paterka, of course, and uh talks about how Kreider is likely dealt in the summer. So just a nothing burger. Thank you, Vince. Always on top of it as always.
The
I'm sure
mighty
Molly's posting her TikToks right now. We're getting great news from the beat right now.
and Larry's still like he might be up. I don't know if Larry's an early riser, but if he's either sleeping or drinking his coffee.
Larry was probably up at like 5 a.m. honestly, after going to bed at 8 o'clock.
Larry was cooking up the Rangers are not shopping Chris Kreider, but they're taking calls on him.
So stupid. The definition of shopping is taking calls on someone, but no, they're not shopping him, Larry. Yeah, I can't wait to know what Vince's kid's up to today. Yeah, I can't wait to see what Molly's wearing to the game tomorrow. Yeah. Great, great work here by the brutal New York media.
So is Ryan probably not going to Dallas now? Well, I mean, depends on the extension. Because if there's no extension in place, he's not going to Dallas. So,
It's basically LeBron the decision at this point with him.
but if not, then I think he ends up going to Florida. But we'll see.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for Vince to post what he's eating before the 3 o'clock deadline too. Just got some sick barbecue food in Nashville.
He definitely got some overcooked steak.
Yeah, his steaks on Thanksgiving that were probably well done and were obnoxiously gray. Yeah.
Damn, time to wake up. It's a little odd.
I don't think it would take Bennett and Verhage Luca um to get Rantanen.
Carson,
I saw that.
where do you find these people?
I don't think though it would take that much to get Rantanen.
No. It's either gonna be one of Bennett or Verhage, and then a pick and a prospect maybe.
Yeah, or maybe a different roster player, but it's not gonna be both of them. I'd be surprised if it was. Especially since we're hearing Dallas might like Stakehoven might be the big piece going the other way in that deal. I don't even know if it's for Hagee for Florida if they get him. Which I don't know why Carolina would even bother, but we had a tweet from Ball Panarin from Saravalli's deadline target board. Sources say any team calling Buffalo has been met with resistance of Paterka, but the volume of calls has increased. The amount of chatter around the league is growing louder. Keep an eye on the New York Rangers. If he's doubling down, that helps, but I genuinely believe that Drury wanted it shut down yesterday because he doesn't want other teams to up their offers.
Yeah. Jury doesn't work well under pressure. He's not built for this. He wants the lights off of him. What would it take for Paterka, Laugh, and a pick?
No, they wouldn't have to move a pick with Laugh. I think if anything, if they move Laugh, they'll get something back also because GMs get the biggest boner when they see a former first overall pick, especially one that played in the same program that Crosby did. Now that tells me though that the interest is legit. It was just leaked to because they don't want a bidding war.
Get Drury off the grill. The grill's
Don't
already
get him.
been burnt.
Don't get him off the grill if he's getting Paterka though. Then he could stay on the grill.
He'll still find a way to fuck it up. The grill's already been burnt down already. Drury's like on his 5th grill. Home Depot's running out of fucking grills to be purchased.
I don't know if I'd say it's low the chances. It's just that the odds of it happening could have got hurt now because of that leak. Because now other teams might up their offers for Paterka versus
Would
what it was. So
would would you do Schneider and Offman for to? Oh yes, absolutely. I will drive Schneider and Offman to Buffalo myself and
I
bring
would
back
do it, but like
Paterka.
I keep saying, they're not going to move
Yeah.
Schneider. They love Schneider too much. Rumors of JJ to the Kings or Utah. I mean, it would make sense for, like I said, it would make sense for any team in the league to try to get Paterka, a young forward that could be in the top 6 and still has a lot of room to grow as a player, especially if he gets more power play time and is on a good power play unit versus what Buffalo's throwing out there. Yeah, I mean it would make sense, but no, we'll see. Yeah, I know. Kako has more points than Lafreniere now. Would I rather have Paterka or Lafreniere? What I said yesterday about that is there's a good argument for either or, and I think that my opinion is the safer bet is Paterka because you really do know what you're going to get from him, and I think he's a more consistent player on a nightly basis too. But with Lafreniere, I mean, based on what we saw last year, the ceiling is higher if he could be what he was last year or, potentially even better than that. But the problem is there's more of an example of him not being the player he was last year versus the other way around because this year, not a good year. And then we know about his first 3 seasons that were just abysmal. So that's how I feel about that. Don't even joke about that, John. Don't even joke about that. Yeah, I think Paterka could get to that ceiling. I do. He's um he's a really good goal scorer. He really is. He could be I think it's safe that he could be like a 30-30 guy consistently and then, every now and then touch 70 points. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be and I can't comfortably say he'll be an 80-point guy at any point in his career, but I think he'll consistently be in that 50 to 60 point range, and maybe he'll have like a 70-point season here and there. Where with Lafreniere, that's where the question is, are you going to get that from him at all? Because I think he has more upside to where he could be a point per game player, Lafreniere, that is. But it's just a matter of, again, like getting to the level that he was at last year. And it's just, I don't know if he gets to that again, unfortunately. So, it would make sense if the Rangers did make the move to get Paterka for Lafreniere because one, you get rid of a contract that you might already be regretting. And number two, I mean, you save cap if you get Paterka because he's an RFA, but you could give Paterka like you could give him a team friendly deal, more of a friendly deal, I feel like, than Lafreniere, and then you could actually get a little bit more help for this team. So, and yeah, I mean, this is the thing too. Like, there's the argument that Panarin was really the catalyst for those guys thriving. Where I mean, Paterka, he plays with Tage Thompson, which helps. But I mean, if you put him with JT Miller, I think Paterka with JT Miller would be. I think that would be perfect. I think they would play really well together. Let's see any news on Paterka so far. Nothing updated outside of Sarah Volley a few minutes ago, who just tweeted saying, he said that keep an eye on the Rangers with Paterka still. He doubled down basically on what happened last night. So again, that tells me what I just tweeted, and what I said before, that Drury definitely had Staple put out that report that they aren't interested because he doesn't want a bidding war, which, it makes sense from Drury's standpoint why he did that. But Buffalo probably leaked it for the opposite because they want other teams to potentially jack up their price. And if other teams don't, they might just take the Rangers deal at that point. So it could happen today, a Paterka trade one way or another. But will it be to the Rangers? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see there, but hopefully it will be.
The food has been delivered.
Buffalo year 15 into or year 15 into 3-year rebuild. They're a disaster. They're a complete disaster. I don't know. I think it's gonna be Trocheck. I agree with you that it's probably not gonna be Miller, but I think there's a chance.
Who do you guys hate today? Chris Drury. No, but in terms of guys like who I wouldn't want the Rangers to get, Scott Lawton. Um, I mean, the Rangers don't need any more defensemen, but if I see Chris Drury acquire Mario Ferraro, then I'm gonna, go on my roof and might do something.
And he still got outscored when he was on the ice. Still got outscored. So can't even gas up Goudreau because for the playoffs he had because of that. Could I see a world where they get Paterka and Talk? No, I think it's just going to be Paterka. Maybe Byram in a deal, maybe McLeod, but I don't see it being Talk. I'd love it to be Talk, but realistically, I just don't think it will be.
I'm confused as Miko on the Stars. Well, a trade's been agreed and it's in place, but it depends on an extension.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Chris Kreider is gone, so we don't have to worry about that. Which, I will say that as much as I rip on Mika, I really do think I can at least appreciate that he's buying into what they're trying to do here and buying into, the play style that JT Miller has brought, where Chris Kreider, on the other hand, is just sulking and basically saying, yeah, no, I'm still upset because you fired the trainer of all people. So I can at least appreciate that Meek is not letting anything be a distraction. I mean, whoever they name the captain's gone within 2, 3 years at most. That's just what it is with this team. This isn't true though at all. No, it's already been reported that Tuck isn't in the Sabres' future plans. So there will be a move, whether it's today, whether it's the offseason, whether it's next year's deadline. Tuck's more likely than not gone. The only way that he's not gone is if by some miracle Buffalo is actually a good team next year. But we do this gimmick every year that they're taking a step forward. It's the Sabres cycle. They'll start off good in October, be good for part of November, and then they'll hit that rut until about, the middle of March where they start to heat up and tease that maybe they'll make the playoffs. They're just on the outside looking in. Everyone thinks they're going to make the playoffs, and then, rinse and repeat. I forgot who had the initial report, but it was a couple of weeks ago that one of the insiders said that Tuck's not in the Sabres' future plans. So he's likely on the move. Like I said, unless Buffalo actually has a good year next year, which, again, good luck with that. What do I think of Lafreniere making over $7 million next year? My contract that I thought was a steal is not looking great right now. I can tell you that.
What am I eating? It's Hungry Man. It's got bacon, egg, cheese, potato, and sausage on a roll. Very good. But yeah, the Lafreniere extension. What do I think of it? I mean, if he gets back to the production which he was putting up last year, then yeah, it's a steal. But if it's the production he's putting up this year, then yeah, it's another bad long-term contract that Drury has signed. But
To add to the collection.
no, collecting Infinity Stones are shit contracts.
Yeah, I agree with this. Hiring Lindy
Yeah,
Ruff
that
was just
was
stupid. I
dumb.
mean, I think the hockey world was in agreement on that one that it was just stupid. What are the Leafs gonna do? Both the Panthers making moves while they've been quiet. Well, like I said, they're gonna just make some move that they're gonna overpay for someone that's not great. They'll get like Scott Lawton. I thought they were gonna get Luke Shen. I thought that was a lock, but for some reason, Barry Trotz wanted Michael Bunting and traded Novak and Shen, which still is one of the dumbest trades I've seen in my life. But I don't know what Toronto does. They need help in that forward group. They need a defenseman. So realistically, I mean, that's a team that apparently has been interested in Rantanen, but I don't know if he's going to sign an extension there.
Oh wow, big news! Patrick Maroon's available.
Oh, a lot of cup experience going out the door.
That's who's Toronto's going to get. Patty Maroon.
Name 5 GMs better than Chris Drury. Is this a serious question? Okay. Breezewa, Nil. Who was the guy that was just McCrimmon also from Vegas. Easily would take him. Blake's
Zito.
been cooking. Zito, I don't know how I forgot about him. That's who I was thinking of. I don't know how I forgot about.
Travel day off.
Yeah, Greer. Funny enough, was in this front office and he's been doing great in San Jose. Alvin. Garen. Do I need to keep going or?
Pretty much anyone other than like Kevin Adams and Don Sweeney.
Yeah, and Barry Trotz right
Yeah.
now. I will say Briere's reputation's starting to get on the line though for me. I liked Briere, but his reputation's on the line right now. Yeah, the Leafs, this would be a surprise move of the day though too if they got Braden Shen. That would be a good fit though there. Here, but Nicholas, let me ask you this since you're asking me to name 5 better GMs. Name me 5 things that Chris Drury has done that's been good for the franchise. Name me 5 good
Good,
things.
good luck with that one.
Because I could think of maybe 1 to 2 things, but again, like we always say, there's a catch to it, like with Trocheck. Which even then, I mean, he's having a down year right now. I wouldn't compare Peterka to those guys at all, but I do agree that they cannot. Like missing out on Peterka would suck. The only deal that I like from that deadline, looking back on it, was Vetrano. Like Vetrano was a really good ad. I'll give Chris Drury that one, but I wanted Cop at the time, but let's be honest, they did overpay for Cop. Braun, like a third round picks, whatever, but technically an overpay in that regard. But Cop was a passenger though of Panarin. Like I don't know. He was okay, but they got him to be the third line center, and then he was forced into a different role because of the fact that this forward group just again neglected the young guys for so long and didn't give them top 6 minutes that they had to split up what they were doing and then put Cop on that second line. And he was a passenger to Panarin entirely. But
Would you take
and also
Vetrano back?
after that Pittsburgh series, Cop was invisible.
Yeah. Yeah, he did nothing in the Tampa series. I'll give Drury this. Not re-signing Strom and Cop was a good move, but I mean, yeah, but that was obvious. Like, I don't think we should be giving Drury credit for not extending ass, but
That's the problem. It's like the good that he's done, it's just like such a low bar of like where like Vetrano, you give him credit. That was like good move there, but it's like with that stuff like that, it's like it's so in your face obvious that it's taking Nicholas a lot of time to figure this one out though. If he's still even here. Wish we went for Barbashev in 2023. Yeah, but I don't know what I mean. The Rangers would have gave up probably Othman as the comparable for that trade. So yeah, I mean, in retrospect, it would have been better than Tarasenko probably.
Mikula should have been re-signed, but he was good. Yeah, Mikula, like we said earlier, I liked Mikula here, and I wish the Rangers did re-sign him, but good on him for going to Florida.
Gino, I already answered your what you said in the chat there. You don't gotta keep saying it.
Imagine JT gets injured, Drury would be absolutely fucked. Drury's already fucked. He's been fucked.
If you're saying we're beating a dead horse because of talking about Drury's stupid moves, no, I won't stop beating a dead horse because I care about this team and he's not done a great job. The biggest failure, yeah. That's exactly what we said earlier, Joey, is that Drury's problem is more about what he didn't do versus what he did. Like not trading for Jack Eichel, like not getting Gensel last year, not moving Lindgren in the offseason, not moving Truba in the offseason. It's just it's more about that than anything else. And this too, I mean, it's not beating a dead horse when he's still the GM. If he wasn't the GM, then yeah, I mean, we'd be talking about how garbage it is, but we'd hopefully be having a good laugh about it because hopefully there would actually be a wait, what happened here?
Knowing Drury, we're gonna end up with Brandon Tanev. Call it a day. That'll be a bad trade and wouldn't make any sense. And not because Brandon Tanev's a bad player. I like Brandon Tanev. I think he would be a really good bottom six piece on a cup contender, but he's a pending UFA. So why
Wait,
would
we
the
gotta we
Rangers?
got a Drager report. Sorry to cut you off, but see where it goes because of course we have to start the tweet that way. But I'm confident the Dallas Stars are/were willing to go upwards of 12 million per to extend Rantanen, a big number for the Stars given contract challenges moving forward. Unless something changes, that's well short.
How much fucking money is this guy looking to get? Fuck.
I guess Rantanen went to the school of Pete Alonso though here. Like I'm sorry you're not getting more than that on the open market. And that's a no tax team there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Random
that
as Boris is his agent.
yeah, exactly.
What's the corny line though?
Brandon's such a loser for that.
He's looking for Vlad Guerrero money.
Yeah, no bingo card today. Brandon's such a loser though for this. I mean, he's an idiot. Like, just sign the extension. You're not because he's gonna lose out on money.
Um,
He's gonna lose out on it because the production's just not there. He does not fit in Carolina. He's gonna get less than that. Just take the fucking 12 million with Dallas and be done. This is Like this is legit just Pete Alonso.
That's the thing, because the thing says while 12 million in Dallas is more valuable than 12.6 million in Carolina, it's still well short of. How is it well short?
That's ridiculous. Yeah. That deal is gonna that deal's not gonna happen. Rantane's gonna stay in Carolina, and then he's in for a rude awakening when he gets to the free agent market. What an idiot. No, I would not give Mika Rantanen 14.5 for 8 years. No. There's
No.
so much better talent coming up in the next few years to where I'm sorry, I don't understand this. And Rantanen's a great player, but like 14.5 is ridiculous. Especially when he's a winger too. Like if he was a center, it would be more justifiable. 14.5 for a winger's absurd.
Are you letting Igor go? I fucking wish I could, but that's just not gonna happen.
I don't think Rattay wants to go back to the Avs. They would have got a deal done if he wanted to stay in Colorado.
No, he wants to go, and it was like what Anthony mentioned on the stream yesterday. He wants to go to a team where there's no state income tax, but I mean, Dallas is offering him a good deal, and he's still fucking being greedy and demanding more. And again, he's not getting 14 million on the open market. I don't even maybe 13, but that's pushing it.
I don't even think that. I genuinely don't believe he reaches 13. I know, yeah. How do we expect him to feed his family off of 12 million a year? And I get it though; it adds up. 12 million over 7 to 8 years. The difference between 12 and 14, but it's like you're not get like be have self awareness that you're not getting that. If I'm Miko Rantanen and I'm looking at the situation where I could get 12 million in a no no tax state and I'm underachieving in Carolina, I don't fit in the system and I could potentially lose out on money. I'm just taking the money and going to Dallas. It makes 0 sense. Yeah, Draisaitl's making 14. Like I
Yeah.
guarantee that these teams are pointing to that and saying you're not worth more than Draisaitl. That's why he's not getting 13 on the open market. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't see any team giving 13 because the fact that Colorado was willing to give 12 million, I believe that's what it was, and he didn't sign there. Carolina was willing to give 12 million. He didn't sign there. And then Dallas now is willing to give 12 million. Still didn't sign there. His market value clearly is 12 million.
Or
Accept what your market value is.
or 12 and a half, somewhere around
At
there.
most, yeah. He
Yeah,
just
but
can't accept that his market value is.
Draisaitl. Well, and not even the point. Draisaitl is a center. Draisaitl is just a better player than Mikko Rantanen. I mean, Draisaitl's
Exactly.
top
It's
top. He's the third best player in the league, fourth best player, depending. If you think Austin Matthews is better, but yeah, like I like Mikko Rantanen, a very good player, but I think oh, maybe does even crack top 10. He's definitely top 15, but yeah, but Draisaitl's a top 3 player in the game. He could
yeah.
carry a team by himself. I don't
And he
think
doesn't even
Miko.
have to do that. And by the
Yeah,
way, someone pointed out in the chat, I want to find it, that it's with the with Canadian taxes too. And he's making that 14 million. But Miko Rantanen's crying poor over going to Dallas for 12. Get out of here. And this will change though. This is gonna change this offseason. Marner's gonna pass Panarin's AAV probably too. And that's the thing too. Like Marner's available, and if Rantanen's gonna be this way, teams are just gonna look at Marner instead. And this is the biggest win for Marner if that's the case, because teams
the
are gonna pivot to him.
the players association probably tells the players what to target. Well, yeah, but you also got to be realistic.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but this is literally just the Pete Alonso thing where he rejects the big offer and is getting multiple offers, continues to say no because he thinks his market value is more, and then is in for a rude awakening. If 3 teams have offered you 12 million or in that ballpark, then can't you just acknowledge and say, "You know what? I guess that's my market value." I'm sorry, but no team is going north of that.
Canes reportedly offered 13, 14 million according to Weeks. I mean, if that was the case, then I think Rantanen would have re-signed.
Yeah, no,
That's
I don't know
yeah.
how true that is. And if they did offer that, then just stupid. I'll tell you this though, if Rantanen gets 14 or north of that somehow, Connor McDavid's hitting the open market.
Oh yeah, that's
Connor McDavid would be dumb to not hit the open market then, because he genuinely would probably get. Is it fair to say that he maybe even could hit 20? Is that crazy to say? If Rantanen's making 14 and a half?
no.
I mean,
He could.
it's at least starting at 18.
Yeah, 18 to like 20 million, somewhere in that range, and he'll get it.
Yeah. He would be stupid to not hit the market then if a team gives Rantanen that deal.
The NHL is so far behind that 20 million is like high. Fucking Stalling Marte makes $20 million for the Mets.
Yeah, that's another. So stupid, the NHL. It's just like fourth liners aren't even getting like the highest paid players are getting what fifth starters get in the MLB. It's so stupid. Off topic, who's our pick to win the cup this year? Florida goes back to back so far is my prediction.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, Nick, I agree. I would like McCann if he's available. It's just so stupid though. This thing with Rantanen, like
Where's the trades?
Elliot Freeman, Buffalo, and Zucker are working towards an extension. Why? Like
Buffalo's so
Buffalo
dumb.
is so fucking stupid.
Kevin Adams is like I th- him and Drury are really like Jesus Christ.
Shopping Paterka and McLeod, but extending Greenway and Zucker.
The Kevin Adams
That's
way.
textbook Buffalo Sabres. They're I don't know if they are they might be worse than the Jets. They're the Jets of the NHL, but I don't know which is worse. It's my God, so dumb.
Yeah, but at least the Jets have a Super Bowl, so the Sabres can't say that they don't got a cup. Oh, but I feel bad for Sabre fans. Just can't catch a break.
Sabres are the Browns of the NHL. So stupid. Just beyond moronic.
If Dre and Adams ran restaurants, there'd be so much food poisoning in the world.
Okay, you know what though? Kevin Adams is somehow making Chris Drury look like a genius, and that takes a lot to do. How do you shop your 22-year-old, 23-year-old rather, 30 goal scoring winger and shop someone that could be one of the best third line centers in the league on a contending team? But you know what? Jordan Greenway and Jason Zucker, I
Those are
want
the
you.
guys I want.
Let's extend those guys.
Gassing up Super Bowl 3. I mean, listen, it's something.
Leaving with something, the definition
It's
of leaving with something.
it's something. It's better than nothing. Sabres had Eichel and Reinhardt. Amazing, yeah. Oh, Buffalo. It's bad when I gotta go back to NHL 11 to see the last roster that Buffalo had in the playoffs.
You gotta load up the
I gotta get
Xbox 360 for that
my
one.
my PS3. It's bad when Eric Christensen was on the roster, on the Rangers roster the last time the Sabres were in the playoffs.
Mike Bardner made his trade deadline predictions and put Ferraro on the Rangers. I just
Thought about.
why?
I mean, if that happens, I'm not even thinking about it. I'll see. Even he has Lawton to Toronto. Ooh, see Ryan O'Reilly to Winnipeg. Now that would be a good ad. That would
That
be a good
would,
that would be a good pivot from Nelson.
and it would keep him away from New Jersey. I like the idea. Please don't make me hate Ryan O'Reilly. He's one of my favorite players in the league. Please just don't go to New Jersey.
Yanks are minus 420 to make the playoffs, and the Dodgers are minus 10,000.
The Yankees should have way higher odds than that. The AL is garbage.
Mm. Getting word that there might be a trade between two NHL teams. Big. I mean, yeah, that's huge news. Never would have seen it coming.
I would like some sort of trade though. Right now, it's getting pretty boring here.
It's 11 o'clock. It's almost 11 o'clock and nothing, other than ranting and being a greedy bitch.
Yeah.
Ruedel is back. Yay! More depth. More shitty depth.
He could get moved today though.
Yeah, he
It'll be
could.
peanuts in return, but leave
And,
him with
and what did and
something.
what did and what did Drury give up last year? A fourth round pick to get him.
A fourth round pick for a defenseman in Hartford, and I was told to jump off a bridge because I said it was stupid. I said it was stupid to acquire an eighth defenseman for a fourth round pick. I don't care if that fourth round pick becomes nothing. It's just stupid. Here we go. Zucker extension's done.
What's the
It's a
oh,
2 year,
for
2 year, yeah,
4.75?
4.75. Good job, Buffalo.
Kevin Adams, man. What are you doing? Kevin Adams and John and Chris Drury is definitely that WWE meme of John Cena and The Rock, who's the dumbest GM in the league. Ooh, hold on, Kevin Weeks. I'm told Senators and Sabres are working on a potential trade which may include forwards Josh Norris and Jacob Bernard Docker.
Don't tell me Petarka's going the other way. Who tweeted this?
Kevin Weeks.
Crap. Don't tell me Petarka's going the other way. That could be a deal, though, that McLeod goes in.
McLeod and Brady Kachuk were supposed to be Rangers. What happened?
Please don't be Petarka.
Oh, okay. So Dreyer on TSN says Stars could not reach an agreement with Rantanen on a contract extension. They were comfortable with 12 million per year, and that doesn't seem to be enough for Rantanen. So I guess that deal's off the table then.
Yeah, that deal's not going to happen. Rantanen's not getting traded today. So Buffalo extending Zucker and then acquiring an injury-prone Josh Norris and a third
Okay
pair
defense
defenseman.
and an okay defenseman in Bernard Docker.
Literally the definition of the definition of ass here.
Nico's tweet.
When he tweet.
Running it to the tunnel in the link because Ottawa's gonna get Paterka.
Yeah. I'll be joining him on that run. I'm the security guard.
I will be joining too.
You're the guy with the headset, pushing him on the back.
I love that video.
Please just don't be Petarka.
Oh yeah, that's true, Paterka, and we're playing the Sens tomorrow, so that's a lock.
I thought Ottawa was going to draft him too.
They're saying Cousins.
That could be the case. And I would be very happy if that is. That would actually make sense, though. That makes a lot of
Yeah, it
sense.
makes sense.
Please be Cousins. I can't do this. Don't make me collapse at 11 a.m. here.
Why is Buffalo buying?
Why is
Because
Buffalo a franchise? That's the real question.
because Kevin Adams, buddy. Kevin Adams to the moon.
Is there really like what is the point of like when that video where the guy just like flips the other guy over his back?
Yeah.
It's just or this is actually the definition of blood doing nothing but taking a step back, going from Cousins' contract to Norris's. Like, sure, Norris is a better player when healthy, maybe, but it's just so stupid.
I don't know. I still think Cousins has. Maybe he just needs to change the scenery and maybe put him in Ottawa. Does something, but I don't know. Guess we'll find out.
Now that makes more sense that it's a Cousins deal just because of the contracts. I think you're on to something with that one.
Yeah, Chad. I think this was one of the guys I was talking about.
Last night, what do you say?
Yeah, was seeing. I believe Cousins is going to maybe going to Ottawa.
Petarka's still on. Yes. Thank God. Had me in the first half there.
Could be wrong. I'm on my insider. I mean, unless you're getting it from what's the fuck that guy's name, Roger.
Roger Hicks.
Yeah, Roger Hicks. Then I think you should be good.
I can't believe
Or
it though. The Buffalo Sabres are acquiring a right shot defenseman. I didn't think that was allowed. Thank God it's not Petarka. This guy Bruce Garrett, like, so fucking useless. Sens have interest in Dylan Cousins. I think they're getting him, buddy. The fuck do you mean they got interest? Are they studying him too? Oh my
yeah,
God,
they're
Bruce.
doing they're doing a lot of studying right now.
The fuck?
So much studying.
Oh, don't tell me Twitter's not working for me now because I've refreshed it so much. Shit. Let's see if it works on my computer. All right, I think it's working.
Uh,
There we go. It's working
Dave
here.
Dave Pagnotta. Sens have had both players available for some time. They've expressed interest in Dylan Cousins in the past. Curious if that's what ends up to get it over the finish line.
We're still up then. I used to pray for times like this. Sabres have interest in star quarterback Josh Allen. He can't be any worse than what they're trotting out there. Thank God Nico's tunnel tweet didn't age well. 4 hours left. And we got a whole lot of ass so far.
I mean, Buffalo's right shot's not too bad. Darlene, Power, Bernard Docker. But I mean, they're probably gonna flip Bowen Byram, so that's gonna make their. But just yeah, I don't know. So much young talent and amounts to nothing. Oh, Buffalo.
But they have Darlene and Power on the
The
right
right
side, you
side.
said?
Yeah. That's what Daily Faceoff has.
Why though?
I don't know.
Why are they playing on the right side? Why are you putting your two first overall picks on their offside? Fucking Buffalo, man.
I don't know.
God.
The Frank is Frank Saravelli. just trade Schneider and add a little more for someone like Yogi Haru. No, Yogi Haru's okay. Clifton's fucking ass. I don't need more ass on defense. Well, this is Chris Dre we're talking about, so he likes ass on defense.
Only Buffalo though would draft. This is the most Ranger shit I've seen actually. You have 2 first overall pick defensemen that are left shot defensemen. Let's play them on the offhand instead of Matthias Samuelson and Bowen Byram. That makes sense. Makes sense. Joey, I got no clue. Honestly, I'm not even following any Buffalo beat writers. I'm just seeing people repost any of this news. But I'll let you know if I see any news about that.
Carson, we didn't make the Scott Long splash yet, but it's coming. Who will win the source off Arthur Staple or Roger Hicks?
Don't forget Saravalli though, on that source off. Yeah, Elliot Friedman looks just completely cooked today, James. He's definitely been. He was up all night for sure. He looks completely fried.
Nothing a little powder can't fix. And I'm talking about sugar.
Yeah, Cousins traded. It's just such a weird trade.
Oh, it's done?
Most likely. We haven't got any like update about that, but it's probably going to be that. Such a weird trade. I mean, Buffalo, I guess they win that trade, but
Yeah.
Norris's contract's not great either. It's like
Yeah. I mean, from Cam Robinson, from one source not involved in the deal, we're hearing it's Cousins for Norris and Jacob Bernard Docker.
Cousins plus, so we have to see what the rest is.
Yeah, Cousins plus.
I was gonna say because if it's Cousins for Norris and JBD, then that would be a good trade for Buffalo. But Buffalo, we can't give Buffalo credit here. Of course, they have to trade something else. Surely Paterka's not the other piece in that deal, right? If they trade Byram in that deal with Cousins, somehow like if that's the deal,
why? That would just make no sense.
that's why Buffalo would do it. That's what I'm trying to think of though. I'm trying to think of something
All right,
stupid Buffalo could do.
Evan, cover your ears because this is probably gonna hurt. But Emily Kaplan, hard to say. No, Kevin Adam. No, or I know. She probably meant I know because she used KNO. But no, Kevin Adams is trying to do something big, and I heard Paterka's name out there yesterday as a likely candidate. But I got crickets when I heard on the Rangers side.
So that doesn't. That's a nothing burger though. Honestly, that's basically what we. So that's basically what we're talking about though with Staple.
Yeah, but that is
Literally a nothing burger.
but that is someone else who backed up from Staples' side that they haven't heard anything. So we'll see.
Yeah, but that makes sense though. That the Rangers wouldn't want to leak that they're in on Paterka. So I don't think that
Well,
means much, honestly.
maybe she didn't get it from the Rangers side. I don't know.
She said it was the Rangers side. She said but I got crickets when I checked on the Rangers side.
No, whatever.
That's a nothing burger then. To me that's just again similar to what it's the same thing that we heard last night. Buffalo's end is vocal about it, and the Rangers are silent about it because Drury doesn't like things leaked. So yeah, that what Joey's saying. There's a deal with those two. Will it get done? I don't know, but there's a deal. Like the Rangers just don't want it leaked. I'm not taking any stock into that report. It's literally just reiterating what we know. I don't think that means they're out, Jacob. I'm sorry, but like I said, the Rangers don't leak. They don't like to leak stuff. Someone said it yesterday. It's true. We heard nothing about the Susie
Who,
deal leading up.
Anthony Beauvillier to the Capitals. Elliot Friedman.
All right, at least we're getting trades now. That's a good get for Washington.
Yeah.
I like Beauvillier. If the Rangers were in a buy mode, I would have liked Beauvillier for the bottom six, but
Good trade for
they're
the
not.
Caps.
Yeah, depending what they gave up, though, I'm gonna be pissed if it's more than Riley Smith.
Y'all know that is happening.
Um, but like I was saying before with that, um, yeah, like with Carson Soucy, we heard nothing leading up to the trade. We heard nothing leading up to the Riley Smith deal, so it's like, they don't want shit leaked. I'm telling you that Buffalo leaked it intentionally. They want a bidding war. It just makes too much they'd be dumb to not try to create for them to try to not create a bidding war for JJ Peterka. It would be stupid.
That's gonna be a really solid third line. They're oh, Big Apple Hockey's live, so if you want to switch over to there.
Oh, they just started.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we could do that. We'll give it like a couple more minutes, and
Okay.
we're still
Well,
gonna stream on this channel, guys. I'm gonna have to set everything up there though.
yeah.
So
But I was just about to say though that Washington's third line, it's gonna look really good with Beauvillier. They're gonna Mangiapane, Lars Eller, and Beauvillier. That's a solid third line.
yeah. All right. We'll switch over now. Actually, let's just do that. So, guys, I'm
Alright.
gonna end the stream briefly and then join in on theirs and start from there. So be on the lookout. Just refresh your page and I'll be live here again within like 2 minutes, not even.